Today, I stand here in the village I love so dearly, in the village I fought for over 10 years, and that I will continue to fight for in Congress. I stand here today to say loudly to those in Washington, enough is enough. I'm tired, and I think many of you are too. I'm tired of the left fighting with the right fighting with the left. They blame each other. The rhetoric, the rancor, it has to end. I'm not asking people to vote for me to go to Congress today to add to that chaos. I want to show our children, our grandchildren, what it used to look like. I'm going there to reach across the aisle, to work with my colleagues on the other side, and to make sure we bring back the resources that are necessary to the 4th Congressional District.
Yay! Hooray!
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I went all in last week. You can ask my friends and colleagues. I was asked to do this. I said no. I talked around. I got my family, and they supported me. I came all in last week when I watched the State of the Union address. You know, when a member of Congress, while the President delivers the State of the Union in the hallowed halls of Capitol Hill, when they heckle a president who mentions his dead son, who served admirably in our military, we have lost something in this country. We have almost hit rock bottom. I don't care about your politics, Democrat or Republican, independent or conservative. I don't care about your creed, your color, your religion. We have to bring back civility. I have the relationships in this business on both sides of the aisle. I have the resources to make sure that when we get down there, we can provide for this district like it's never been provided for before. Ladies and gentlemen, a friend of mine a couple of nights ago said to me, he just doesn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. The dear friend has 6 children. He's behind me today. And I said to him, since the inception of this country, since the very founding principles we are built upon, every generation has seen a light. Some generations saw that light and it seemed so far away, but that light gave them hope. That light gave them faith, and they always yearned to get to the end of that tunnel. For other generations, as we did so well in this country, that light seemed so close, like you could touch it. But right now, that light has a haze across it. And to be honest with you, I believe it's flickering. I believe some days you can't see it from what you see on the media, what you read in the newspapers, and what you see on TV. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to Washington with an energy and a capacity to make sure that light does not get extinguished, that we do not lose our way, that we actually make that light shine bright so that our children and our grandchildren can see exactly what this country is made for and what this country is supposed to deliver.
Yeah.
Yay!
I stand here today with the broadest cross-section of the community of any candidate in this race. I stand here today with Bishop Harvey and Bishop Elliott. And what you are doing today is not lost on me, bishops. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your prayers. But I got to tell you something, as I've said to you both. This isn't your typical campaign. I won't be your typical congressman. I'm not just going to show up before an election, drop a few dollars and ask you to vote. You and I together, we're going to create institutional, transformative change for your communities. We're going to make your communities respected. We're going to have the talents of your communities be shown, and we're going to make the boats rise in every part of this district, and that is my solemn promise to both of you. I stand today with law enforcement. Behind me, I have members of the NYPD, the DEA, and the FBI. Men and women who every day put on a uniform and do a noble job. They go out to protect us. Now, some are going to say, he's standing with ministers and law enforcement. It seems counterproductive. It's not counterproductive. We're all in this together. And when these groups come together, when we stand together, we find almost all the time we have more in common that unites us than the differences that divide us. And we got to get this country back to work, and we're going to make this district work. Ladies and gentlemen, behind me, I have one of my favorite friends, and I think one of the best elected officials in this state. Senator Kevin Thomas, your integrity, your honesty, your work ethic, you are what it means to truly be what I think I want to be, a public servant. I don't need to be a politician. We need to be public servants, Kevin Thomas, and that's what you are. I have to mention two good friends of mine because their support means the world. The support of Bobby Kennedy in Freeport has always been a good friend. Support of Whalen Hobbs in Hempstead, another person. I've represented those communities for over 2 decades. I know intricately what Freeport and Hempstead need when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to economic development. I will work closely with them to provide for their residents, the 2 largest villages in the state of New York, and we will make them rise as well with the rest of the district. I stand today with my friends of the American Legion. I see you, Tony Marino, and I love you, baby. Post 44, you've always had my support, and I will always and forever support each of you. I stand today with my friend from the north, Muttontown Mayor Jim Liguori. Jim, you're a friend, you're an advocate, and thank you for joining me on this journey. I also stand today with the village attorney of Freeport, Howard Colton. Thank you, Howard, for your support and your endorsements. I stand with the village attorney, Keisha Marshall, Village of Hempstead. Thank you for your support and your endorsements. I stand today with the village clerk of the village of Muttontown, Joe Russo. Thank you, Joe, for your friendship and most importantly, your endorsements and support. Ladies and gentlemen, behind me, if you really look, there are Democrats and there are Republicans. They're both. And they're not all family of mine. They're friends I've met along the way. They're people who have seen me do the job. It's time we go back to a bicameral system where both parties thrive, Democrats a little better. And we're going to make sure that this country works again for the 4th Congressional District. I'm the only one with the resources, I'm the only one with the support, and I'm the only one who's going to go down there, roll up his sleeves, and do the job that needs to be done.
Yeah, Keith.
There's some hot-button issues out there, and I want everyone to know from day one where I stand on both of them. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand here today to tell you, we are not, let me repeat, we are not going to defund the police. We're going to fund the police.
Yeah.
We're going to provide them the resources they need to do their job. But I'm going to tell you something else. Forget the rhetoric. Government has failed for 5 decades. They failed on such an important cause to society for over 5 decades. We're going to actually work to really fund at an intricate level, social services and mental health.
Yeah.
We have put so much on our cops, and you can ask any one of them, family, friends, or those you see in the street. They don't want to be your social worker. They don't want to be your psychiatrist or a psychologist. They just want to do the noble job of keeping you safe, and we need to finally stop pushing it on them and give the resources to people who can help the police keep us safe, and we got to invest in those entities in all of our communities across the district. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a scourge that's coming across this state. I think it spread quicker than COVID did last year, to be honest with you. And it started there, and we see it happening in that largest city in the country, just to the west. And I will stand on the western borders of the 4th Congressional District, and I would do everything I can to stop it from coming into our communities. It started to seep in, and we've seen it, and we're trying to eradicate it. And that scourge is bail reform. Everyone here should know my position. Whatever someone holds in their wallet should not determine if they're going to spend the night in jail or not. But I got to tell you this, the reform they did, the reform that went on the books, that's not a reform that keeps our communities safe. That's not a reform that really respects and admires what we are here in New York. And that reform needs to be changed, and it needs to be changed for the better. We are not going to allow our communities to be overrun. And I'm standing today with someone who, without ego, without coming out and letting you know everything he's doing and trying to take credit, someone who hasn't been pounding his chest and telling you what he's about, I'm standing today with a state senator, Democratic State Senator Kevin Thomas, who's been quietly working day in and day out to change the bail reform laws to protect all of us. Kevin Thomas, you have an ally in that fight, as I know you do. I will stand with you during this campaign to make it happen. And you have my promise when I get to Washington, which I'm sure you have it done by then, hopefully. If it's not, we'll use the biggest federal bully pulpit you've ever seen, because we're going to protect New Yorkers and keep our families safe for all our communities. You know, one of the things bail reform and the effects of it have shown are illegal guns. Illegal guns are everywhere. Nassau County's been wrapping them up. I spoke with Commissioner Ryder the other day. They've been getting more than ever before. I will make it a solemn mission of mine when I get to Washington to fight and put real resources, a cohesive nationwide plan to ensure that we give our police departments locally the resources they need to stop the trafficking of illegal guns. There is no need for 15 and 16-year-olds and children to be able to capably get illegal guns so easily. We need to first stop the illegal guns, and then we can address all the other issues we have, and we need to keep our community safe. Ladies and gentlemen, it's because of the people who stand behind me, it's because of the issues that I'm speaking about, that we finally need to go to Washington and make it work again. And you know, by solemn vow, I'll roll up my sleeves and I will make this district get the resources it needs, and I will ensure that Washington goes back to working again for all of you. I think most of you will agree it's kind of lost its luster, but it's needed to be brought back to what we thought it was. That dream that is the American dream, we need to reach it again, but we need to work for it. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand here today as strong and as straight as I can with the support of my family, friends, and this community. And I state that I am Keith Corbett. I am the mayor of the Village of Malvern, and I hereby declare my candidacy for the United States Congress from the 4th Congressional District of the state of New York. If you're frustrated with how Washington's going, you believe it's left you behind, get behind me. If you believe your kids and grandkids, you don't know what they're leaving them because it's not the country you grew up in as a child, get behind me. If you want to get me someone who actually can make the difference because he has the relationships and the resources to make this country work again, get behind me. Because it's about time we start working for the people we represent, and that's exactly what I intend to do in Washington. And I need everyone's support. And I hope you'll come out and support me, and we're going to take this thing all the way home, and we're going to take it right into January.
Yeah.
All right.
If I could for a moment, and I appreciate the indulgence, I just wanted to say something to the residents of the Village of Malvern. I love this village dearly. I believe there's no better place to raise a family than the Village of Malvern. And I hope to be able to create other Malverns in Nassau County, that small town feel with the butcher shop and the bakery. But it's the people who call Malvern home that I love the most. It's what makes this village what it is. That's why Alicia and I are here. That's why Alicia and I will stay here. I'm not going to Washington to leave Malvern. I'm going to Washington to stay in Malvern. I'm going to open a campaign office right there on Hempstead Avenue. And when I win in January, I'm going to open a congressional district office, the first of its kind in the Village of Malvern, centrally located in the district, and we're going to make sure that Malvern gets what it needs as well, just like so many other communities. You know, I joke so often at home about a bubble, and I swear there is a bubble that stays over Malvern. And it's what keeps us what we are. It's what keeps that little Mayberry feel that we've all come to love, that we raise our families in. And you know, I have gray hair, rounder face, got a little red since I became mayor. And it's not because of doing the job of making sure 72% of the roads got paved without raising taxes. It's not having 0% tax increases and putting money into surplus at the end of the year. It's not the fact that we're going to put the state-of-the-art police department that we've already funded on Arlington Place or $7 million grants, thank you, Senator Thomas, in our parks in Wayland Field. It's not the technology upgrades and all the improvements we're making across the village without dipping into your pockets. What gave me that I could do all day. You know what really gives me the agita, what really gives me the appearance, is each and every day that I've been mayor, and you have to remember 7 months after I swore my oath, COVID hit. Each and every day I use my personal, professional, political relationships, as do many members of this village and this board, to just keep that bubble intact, to just keep that bubble there, to not let the forces that have went through other communities come through Malvern. And it's a full-time job. And you know, I only had to make one decision in my life that was smart. When I married my beautiful wife. I love you, Alicia. And the reason I say that is I didn't want to do this. I wanted to stay, and I wanted to keep protecting that bubble that is Malvern. I want to stay here, and I want to make this village work. And Alicia had an idea, pretty good for someone who doesn't like politics. And she said, Keith, maybe it's time Malvern gets someone beyond the bubble who protects it. Maybe it's time Malvern gets someone beyond the bubble that diverts those kamikazes that you talk about that keep bashing into this little bubble above the village. Maybe it's time we get the resources for Malvern, we get the resources for Floral Park, we get the resources for Hempstead, Freeport, and Lakeview. Maybe it's time we send someone down who's willing to do the job. I know the fight we're going to do. And I'm in this for you, Malvern, and I'm in this for every resident, from Wantaw to Elmont, from Westbury to Long Beach, from the town of North Hempstead through the entire town of Hempstead. We're going to Washington. We're going to get this done, and we're going to make Washington work again for the 4th Congressional District. Thank you very much. May God bless all of you. May God bless America. May God bless Malvern. And may God bless every resident of the 4th Congressional District. Thank you.